friends! We're in the garden today and I'm going to show you around. A lot's changing, a lot's growing. It's August 4th and I'm gardening here in Zone 6 in Eastern Washington. The garden took a little while to take off this year and I'm just now starting to harvest some of the summer fruit. But let me just go through and show you everything that's growing. All right, let's start in the front here. These sunflowers are about to get knocked back quite a bit. I'm gonna come in and prune. They're just taking up more space than they need to. In this front bed, we've got watermelon growing, which is setting a couple fruit. These are sugar baby watermelons. And you can see we've got one that's almost ready to be harvested. And then we've got lots of soybeans through here. And this is okra that I planted. I wasn't sure if it would actually want to grow here, so I planted it pretty close together. It's just an experiment. Usually it's kind of a southern crop, so I just wanted to see how it would grow. This guy right here is a volunteer potato from one that got left behind last year. And it looks like the onions are getting ready to be pulled out soon, maybe in the next couple weeks. This eggplant is setting a lot of flowers, but I'm not seeing any of them take. Also, did you know that eggplants grow thorns? I didn't know until I tried to touch one. We have this row of peppers, and you can see here the shishitos are starting to put on fruit. And I think I actually need to come out and harvest those today. Holy moly! Whoa! I didn't realize there were so many fruit in there. Oh wow, okay. Well, let me go grab a bucket. While I pick these, let me talk to you guys about what's going on in the garden this week. I am sowing all of the seeds for the fall garden, which will be root vegetables and brassicas. So I'm clearing out quite a bit of space this week to make room for planting all of that. It's always a hard decision in the late summer to pull out plants that are still producing, but you know, everything has its time. I think that in the long run, you get a lot more harvest if you pull out things that aren't producing quite as well, in order to make room for things that will continue to produce well. With the fall garden, especially since we get such abrupt fall here, meaning that the cold weather comes pretty quickly and stays cold pretty long. It's really smart to put in stuff that's going to withstand that. The sunflowers are really beautiful, but a lot of them have to come out, unfortunately. And luckily, I've got lots of other stuff that are putting on flowers, so the bees hopefully will want to stay. Well, that's not bad for not knowing they were even there. On this trellis, the noodle beans are actually climbing up the trellis. I've been waiting so long for this to happen. I kind of thought it wouldn't. This parsley plant is finally starting to put on a couple seeds. I think I might pull it out, just for the sake of these noodle beans here. We're seeing lots of blossoms on this eggplant here, and look at this. This is the first eggplant I've ever grown. Our onions over here by the peppers are doing fantastic. We've got shishito peppers here that we just harvested. We've got this random tomato that volunteered. And then through here are all sweet bell peppers. And we've got some fruit setting. And most exciting is we have this yellow bell pepper that's starting to turn color, so that means we'll be harvesting bell peppers soon. Very excited for that. This chamomile, I've had to cut back quite a bit because it just wants to take over. And, ooh, this sunflower right here looks like it's about to open. Let's see. Oh, look at it. So, the Three Sisters garden is really kind of turning into pumpkin. You can see all of these leaves here and in through there. This is all one pumpkin vine. And I'm not like super upset that it's taking over like this. I'm actually quite curious as to how much it will actually take over. The corn in here is growing really well. Ugh. Blister beetles. But this pumpkin right here is Jarradale, which is a blue pumpkin, and it's set a little bit of fruit already. Over here, it's that same pumpkin is sneaking out and trying to escape this middle bed. I don't know how I'm gonna contain it. I think I'm just gonna let it take over, I guess. This back bed has been riddled with weeds the entire growing season, and I haven't really gotten a handle on it. But check out this coral fountain amaranth. This is lovely. I'd like to save some of the seeds from it, but I'm not really sure when or how to do that. We have a couple summer squash here, and you can see we've got fruit set. I've been harvesting a little bit off of those, which is really nice. And these Kiku chrysanthemum melons are really starting to climb. And they're putting on a lot of blossoms, and so I'm hoping we'll see fruit here soon. We have some more winter squash in through here that's finally starting to overcome the weeds, as well as our tromboncino squash that's put on a little bit of fruit here. Let me show you. This guy is so goofy. Beep. I might need to pick that one. This is closer to what you want the fruit to look like. But that's climbing and doing all right. And these loofah gourds, I'm so proud of them. They finally reached the trellis, and so hopefully we'll get a little more growth off of them here soon. I just want one loofah. That's all I'm asking for. Another of these hybrid summer squash. I think this is called Dratini. This back bed, all of these sunflowers are gonna get pulled out. I've been working on pulling this out so that I can reset it for some root vegetables. All of the lettuce is going to seed, and I've planted along this side here some purple snap peas. And you can see I've started on pulling out sunflowers. These leeks have been planted here since the spring, and they are just struggling, so hopefully they'll kind of be able to bounce back. Have a couple turnips in through here. I've just been collecting them as I need them. And then we have some tomatoes along the back. These ones I'm letting just kind of go however they want. I've got a little bit of support on them, but not worried about it too much. Looks like we've got some fruit set, which is exciting. Oh, look, a carrot. I wonder. No, not ready. That's okay. All right, along this back here, we've got purple pole beans that are kind of starting to climb finally, as well as our painted lady bean here. These are not very happy, and I'm not sure why. And then along this side, we've got the tomatoes. So my trellis system here probably could have used a little better engineering. It's kind of sagging in the middle, but my tomatoes are reaching the top of it, which is the tallest I've been able to grow tomatoes ever in my experience of growing. We've got lots of fruit set, and we finally have some cherry tomatoes that are blushing. This is our first tomatoes to come ripe, and I'm so excited. This pear drops is just laid down with fruit, none of which is ripe yet, but I'm excited to try that out. You can see we've got tons of fruit, and I'm hoping that that we get some ripe fruit before the deer come through and decide to have a snack. I've got to come through and do a little bit of pruning. There's not a whole lot of fruit that's super big, but I didn't plant any large varieties, so not surprising. Everything seems to be doing really well, and I'm not seeing any blossom end rot. And overall, I'm pretty happy about how the tomatoes turned out, considering all of the struggles we had at the beginning of the season. Along this back side, we've got all the beans, and I've been harvesting maybe a handful a day, but that harvest is gonna start to increase pretty quickly, I would assume. The cucumber row is looking pretty good. I've gotten 2 or 3 cucumbers off of this so far. Just letting everything kind of do its thing. I think that maybe it needs more water, but I don't know because I don't grow cucumbers. So one thing that you have to think about when you start growing your own food is how you're going to use it. With those cucumbers, for instance, cucumbers are just the thing that you grow in the garden, you know, you get starts for them, they're seeds. And that's fine until you start harvesting cucumbers and you realize that you don't eat cucumbers. I'm in a pickle. I'm so funny. I'm in a little pickle right now because I have started to harvest cucumbers, and it dawned on me that I don't use a lot of cucumbers. I maybe go through 2 or 3 jars of pickles every year, which will be great. But other than that, I've never really eaten a lot of fresh cucumbers. And so what I'm finding myself doing now is looking up recipes to use cucumbers. And wishing, again, that I had a juicer. So if you have any cucumber recipes, go ahead and drop them in the comments, I guess. It's either that or everybody's getting pickles for Christmas. These squash that I planted are escaping. Again, not sure what to do about that other than just kind of let them go. Some amaranth. And then a whole lot of nothing. These beds back here are just kind of, I'm using dead plant matter just to mulch on top so that weeds don't grow. Hopefully these will get used next year. Came through and harvested the potatoes out of this back bed. They were really struggling, and I just knocked down all of the weeds. And I'm just gonna let that rest for a bit. Maybe I'll plant cabbages in there at the end of the month. Excuse me. A little rude if you ask me. Don't you know I'm filming a video? This tomato bed is doing all right. I actually picked a very small ripe tomato off of this week. Everything's just kind of trucking along. There's not a lot of fruit set back here. Looks like we're getting munched on by the deer. I don't know. I'll take what I can get out of this. I'm not really putting very much effort into it. This bed, however, this is the shining star of the week. The beans are producing quite a bit. I get to eat those with dinner almost every night. We've got Tulsi and zinnias, which are starting to kind of take off and grow. I need to prune this back a little bit, I think. The watermelons in here don't seem too thrilled, but they're not giving up, so. Ooh, hi friend. Some really cool looking sunflowers in here. These are probably the biggest blooms that I've seen in the garden all year. Quite lovely. Got more beans. These cosmos here are looking good. Should start producing some flowers in the next couple weeks. And quite a bit of Tulsi. I'm very excited about that. Tulsi tea is one of my favorite evening drinks. This brassica bed is another one that's going to look a lot different next time you see it. I did go through and pull out all of the Napa cabbages that had gone to seed, and I've just kind of mulched over where they were to hold the bed over while I wait to replant in here. Yeah, it's kind of a jungle back through here. I just kind of let this bed go to the sunflowers this year. I will go through this week and thin those out quite a bit so I can plant my fall stuff. And here's our garden gnome protecting his pansies. Chamomile here, and the noodle beans on this side are climbing as well. And this right here is an asparagus, and it's got to be at least 4 feet tall. This here is a butterfly pea flower. I don't know if it's going to take off enough to give any flowers, but we'll see. To end this video, I'd like to show you our tallest sunflower of the season. Last time I showed this to you, it was maybe 9 feet tall. Let's check it out. It's gotta be at least 12 feet tall. And it still hasn't bloomed. Oh my gosh. You can see right through here it's kind of bald. I've had to trim off a bunch of leaves because the sprinkler was hitting it and it wasn't getting to the rest of the garden. I have hopes that maybe this week it will bloom. And I'd like to get a final measurement on how tall it was. I think I might have to wait to cut it down to actually measure it. Well, friends, thanks for joining me in the garden. I love getting to see the progress that I've made in this garden because the work is exhausting, and I hope that it's a little bit inspiring to you. I hope that maybe you'll use this in the winter as inspiration to keep you through the bleak months. I know that I will. So thanks for watching, and stay curious.